One day, somebody's gonna have to make a stand. One day, somebody's got to say enough.
If I do this, I do it as a man.
But you are not just a man.
Dude, this movie looked like it was so fun to make.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
that's the reason I signed on. You know, it's me in a skirt with a rubber sword killing monsters.
Yeah.
We kind of know the world, mate. And you know, I think that's the thing. That's, you know, nowadays sometimes we can go a bit too dark and brooding on blockbusters, and I think the plan with Clash was to keep it buoyant and fun and vibrant.
They need to be reminded of the order of things.
did you have a lot of knowledge of Greek mythology prior to doing this film?
I did. I'm a huge fan of the past in that way, and so I've read a lot of Greek mythology and a lot of history, and I love the fact that it's originated, you know, as something so simplistic as, you know, hieroglyphics or a cave painting, and it's turned into, you know, stories that have carried on forever.
It's not that far away from the Nordic mythology. I'm Danish, so we have the same kind of gods with same kind of qualities. The love God, the hate God. Right. Human qualities, and they're always interesting when they become human and not only gods.
Talk a little bit about working with Sam. How was
Sam. Awesome. It was awesome. He's a powerhouse of energy and creativity and ideas, and I've never quite worked with someone who's so honest, and I think that there's something about that that really puts everyone in the right place.
Now, did you guys have sort of a competitive nature? I mean, obviously it was like oil and water as far as your characters go.
Yeah, he was jealous on my physique, and so we had to settle that once in a while. He's a little strong man, and I'm a tall, strong man, so, so yeah.
Now, the action scenes are spectacular in this, and there's a scene that I'm thinking of in particular where the scorpion kind of flies over and literally like lands on top of Perseus.
Yeah, yeah, it throws us against the wall.
Yeah, but you come up through the scorpion. I heard that you came up with it.
Yeah, that was my crazy idea. I said, if, you know, I've always had I love this idea of turning around and facing it, and it, as it says, it flies through and he comes up through the middle covered in goo. The problem was I forgot that you had to have goo, and remember Louis was like, well, what's inside the scorpion? It's a great idea, Sam. So I spent the day covered in this glue that would crystallise and burn you.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. You know, it,
yeah,
like
it wasn't a pretty day,
man.
I looked awful, and they had to keep putting water on me for me to move, because you'd literally freeze up, because it would plastic. It would turn to hard plastic.
I know for the guys, it was very physical.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at some pretty physical scenes for you. You're hanging there for the Kraken, you've got that underwater scene. I mean,
the underwater sequence was extraordinary. My favorite thing I think I've ever done. And I'm desperate to do a film where I'm entirely underwater at all times. It was extraordinary, that. I mean, just the most peaceful, kind of amazing experience.
How was riding the Pegasus, the horse? I mean, you look like you were...
We don't get along.
No.
Old mate keeps laughing because
What?
every time I say it, I hate it. Me and the horse, I don't like horses. They've sensed something in me that don't like them. So that little ass there used to bite me in the head. As I said, it'd done a couple of movies before me, like Alexander, so it had a bit of an attitude problem.
So the horse was, kind of the diva.
I wasn't allowed to look it in the eyes. You know, it had a stand-in. It would never come to rehearsals. No, we didn't get along, man.
you couldn't just give it an apple and say, let's be friends?
He thought my big bald head was an apple. So yeah. Kept munching away on it.
I was surprised to hear that the sets were real, as opposed to CG, because the movie and everything is so beautiful and spectacular.
Yeah, it's massive. It's so massive. The sets were massive. I mean, you know, the city of Argos, the exterior was built down to every detail. I mean, there were spices in the street. You could smell everything. I mean, the smell of all the different spices and the lavender, and it was wild. I mean, it was a visceral experience being there. And, you know, the dust, you could taste it. I can still sort of taste it, which is amazing.
One thing that I noticed is that your character, Perseus, the way you portrayed him was a little bit different than what I remember from the 1981 version.
Yeah. It was two things. One, I didn't want him to embrace the God side. It was a big thing I said to Louis, that to me I have a nephew, and to say that the only way he can succeed in life is to be a god with all of God's tools. It's not a good message for him, you know, he's 9. And it's not a good message for a 33-year-old. It should be that you can look deep inside and do anything you wish as a man, you know. There's a thing about Greek mythology that it's all destined. I hated that as well. So we're kind of might get a bit in trouble for changing that. But I thought a good message to kids is you can create your own destiny. It's okay, you know. Your destiny is whatever you want it to be.